Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The invitation to the party sat on the kitchen counter, a bright yellow envelope with swirling lettering that seemed to mock me. My wife, Ava, had made it clear she wasn't interested in attending. "It's just a gathering of our friends," I pleaded. "It'll be fun. They'll miss you." She shrugged, her attention buried in her phone. "Not tonight," she replied, her voice flat. "I have a lot to do." I sensed something amiss, a tension in the air that felt heavier than the usual evening routines. But I brushed it off, convincing myself that she was simply tired from work. I went to the party alone, hoping to lighten my mood with laughter and camaraderie. As I entered the lively atmosphere of the party, I felt a wave of warmth wash over me. Friends were scattered throughout the room, drinks in hand, laughter echoing off the walls. I quickly grabbed a beer and joined a group near the kitchen. There was James, his infectious laugh cutting through the noise, and Sarah, who was already several drinks in, her cheeks flushed. "Where's Ava?" James asked, raising an eyebrow. I forced a smile. "She's not feeling well. You know how it is." But as the night progressed, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had begun to gnaw at me since Ava had decided to stay home. I chatted with friends, trying to enjoy the night, but I couldn't escape the creeping suspicion that something was wrong. Around midnight, the room was buzzing, everyone enjoying the intoxication of the moment. I wandered to the back patio for some fresh air. As I leaned against the railing, watching the stars twinkle above, I felt a presence beside me. It was Sarah, her eyes glazed over from the alcohol. "Hey, you good?" she asked, a slight sway in her stance. "Just needed a breather," I replied. After a moment of silence, she leaned closer, her voice lowering conspiratorially. "You know, we're all worried about you, man." "Worried? About what?" I asked, confusion creeping into my voice. She glanced around, ensuring no one was within earshot. "Everyone knows about Ava's affair," she blurted out, her words tumbling out like stones from a mountain. The world around me blurred for a moment. My heart raced, and I felt a cold wave of betrayal wash over me. "What are you talking about?" I demanded, the shock tightening my throat. "It's not my place to say, but," she started, but I interrupted her. Who's she with?" I felt the heat rise to my cheeks, my hands balling into fists. She hesitated, clearly regretting her drunken confession. "I can't say. I thought you should know." The party buzz faded into a dull roar in my ears as I stumbled back into the house, my mind reeling. I couldn't comprehend what I had just heard. My wife, the woman I trusted, the one I thought I knew inside and out, was betraying me. I felt like a fool, standing in a room full of people, while the very foundation of my life crumbled beneath me. I found James again, needing to process the betrayal. "Did you know about Ava?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger and confusion. He looked taken aback, glancing around nervously. I didn't know it was true. Just rumors." "Rumors? People are saying it's a fact." I felt the anger boil inside me, and I stormed out, my heart racing with a mix of rage and despair. As I drove home, the streetlights blurred past me, echoing the turmoil in my mind. I felt betrayed twice, once by Ava and again by the friends who had kept silent. I pulled into the driveway, heart pounding, the shadows of the night closing in around me. Ava was waiting for me, her phone still clutched in her hand. She looked up, surprise flickering across her face. "You're back early," she said, her voice laced with something I couldn't place. I didn't respond. Instead, I walked past her into the house, feeling the weight of the night settle heavily on my shoulders. I was done being the unsuspecting husband, the fool in a play I hadn't signed up for. I felt the anger boil over into a plan. I would make her understand the gravity of her betrayal. My mind raced with thoughts of revenge, each one darker than the last. This wasn't just about the affair, it was about my shattered trust and the life I thought we had built together. I would ruin her life as she had ruined mine. She would feel the pain of betrayal and the bitterness of loss. I turned to face her, a cold determination in my eyes. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. The first step of my revenge was about to begin. I take a deep breath, the weight of my resolve pushing me forward. The air in the living room is thick with tension as Ava looks at me, her eyes wide with uncertainty. I can't let her off the hook this time. She needs to face the consequences of her actions. "What do you want to talk about?" she asks, her voice steady, but I can hear the tremor beneath it. I take a step closer, my heart pounding. "Everyone knows, Ava. About your affair. How could you do this to me?" The words spill out, fueled by anger and betrayal. Ava's face pales, and she opens her mouth to speak but then closes it again, struggling to find the right words. I didn't think you'd find out like this," she stammers. "Did you really think you could hide it forever?" I shoot back, my voice rising. "You've betrayed me, and now I'm supposed to just stand here and pretend everything is fine." Her expression shifts, a flash of defiance sparking in her eyes. "You don't understand. It wasn't just some fling. It meant something to me." My blood boils. "So what? You think that excuses your behavior? That somehow makes it okay?" I pace the living room, trying to rein in my anger, but it surges again. "How long has this been going on?" "I don't know." "A few months," she finally admits, her voice breaking. "But it's complicated." "Complicated?" I can't contain my frustration. "How is it complicated to cheat on your husband? You're betraying the one person who trusted you completely." She crosses her arms, a defensive posture that only infuriates me more. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. You've been so distant, so caught up in your work." I cut her off, unwilling to hear her excuses. "Don't you dare blame me for your infidelity. You could have talked to me instead of running into someone else's arms." The silence hangs between us, thick and suffocating. I can feel my heart racing, the adrenaline coursing through my veins as I prepare for what comes next. "You have two choices, Ava. We can either end this marriage right now, or you can tell me everything, who he is, what you've been doing, and why you thought you could betray me." Her eyes narrow, and she scoffs, "You really think you can just demand that of me? That I'll just spill everything because you say so?" I step closer, lowering my voice to a dangerous whisper. "Try me. Because I swear, I will make your life a living hell if you don't." Ava blinks, uncertainty flickering across her face. "Fine," she says finally, her voice shaky. "His name is Mark. He's a coworker. We met at a work function, and it just happened." "Mark," I repeat, the name tasting bitter on my tongue. "You think that's enough to justify what you did? You think I'll just roll over and accept this?" "No. I didn't mean to hurt you. I never wanted to." "Save it." I snap. "You made your choice, Ava. And now you'll see what it means to betray me." She steps back, the reality of my words hitting her. "What are you going to do?" I smirk, the darkness within me surfacing. "Oh, I have plenty in mind. First, I'm going to make sure everyone knows about this little affair of yours. You can't hide behind your job anymore. I'll tell your friends, your family, anyone who will listen." Her face drains of color. "You wouldn't." "Try me," I say, my voice ice cold. "I'll make sure everyone knows what a hypocrite you are. And once they know, you'll see how quickly your precious social life crumbles. Ava's eyes widen in fear. You can't do that. It will ruin my life. Exactly, I say, relishing the power I feel. You've already ruined mine. It's only fair you feel the same pain. Please, just give me time, she pleads, desperation creeping into her tone. I'll make it right. I'll end things with Mark. I shake my head, cutting her off. You had your chance. Now, it's my turn. This is just the beginning. Ava collapses onto the couch, her hands trembling as she processes the reality of what I've just said. I watch her, the anger simmering inside me slowly morphing into a sense of satisfaction. I've flipped the power dynamic, and it feels good. Do you really think anyone will believe you? She challenges, though her voice is shaky. I'll just say you're lying. I laugh, a harsh sound that echoes in the quiet room. Everyone already knows, Ava. They've seen the signs. You think I'm the only one who noticed how distant you've been? How you've changed? People talk. And now that I've planted the seed, it won't take long for the truth to spread like wildfire. Her defiance falters, and she looks away, tears brimming in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispers, her voice cracking. Sorry doesn't cut it, I say coldly. I want you to feel every bit of the pain you've caused me. You'll watch your life unravel, and you'll have no one to blame but yourself. I turn to leave, my heart pounding with a mixture of adrenaline and satisfaction. The door closes behind me with a soft click, and I lean against it, taking a deep breath. This is just the beginning of my revenge, and it will be more satisfying than I could have ever imagined. As I step into the night, I feel a sense of power and control I haven't felt in months. Ava may think she can escape the consequences of her actions, but she has no idea what's coming. The days following my confrontation with Ava feel like a surreal blur. Each morning, I wake up with a sense of purpose, the anger fueling me. I've mapped out my plan for retribution, and nothing will stand in my way. At work, my mind drifts from the tasks at hand, consumed by thoughts of how to execute my revenge. I decide the first step is to inform our closest friends. I invite a few of them over for drinks, under the guise of wanting to catch up. I can almost feel the anticipation buzzing beneath my skin. When the doorbell rings, I take a moment to steady myself. James is the first to arrive, his easy grin fading as he senses my tense demeanor. Hey, man, you good? He asks, stepping inside. Better than ever, I reply, forcing a smile. Just wanted to share some news. You know how close we all are, right? James nods, looking concerned. Sure, what's up? Before I can answer, Sarah arrives, her usual bubbly self, followed by a few others. I pour everyone drinks, the atmosphere lightening as they settle in. Okay, what's the big news? Sarah asks, leaning in with curiosity. I take a deep breath, the moment of truth at hand. So, it turns out Ava has been cheating on me. The room falls silent, the laughter dying in an instant. I can see the shock on their faces, the disbelief reflected in their wide eyes. What? James finally says, his voice barely above a whisper. Are you serious? Yeah, I found out a few days ago, I reply, trying to maintain my composure. And I thought you all should know, especially since you've been close to her. Who is it? Sarah asks, her expression serious now. Mark, I say, watching their reactions carefully. Her co-worker. James shakes his head, disbelief etched on his face. That guy. I can't believe it. Are you okay? I will be, I say, the bitterness lacing my voice. But I'm not going to let her get away with this. I plan to make her feel every ounce of pain she's caused me. The discussion that follows is filled with shock and concern for me, but I can see the gears turning in their heads. I've planted the seed of doubt, and now I just need to let it grow. I want them to gossip, to talk about Ava and her infidelity. The more people know, the more damage it will do to her reputation. Later that night, I find myself scrolling through social media, looking for anything that might give me an edge. I come across a post from Ava's work, showcasing a recent team-building event. She's smiling, surrounded by her colleagues, but all I can think about is the man standing next to her, Mark. My fingers itch with the urge to expose their affair. I take a screenshot of the photo and begin to craft a message. "Hey everyone, check out this photo of my wife with her lover at the last work event," I type, my heart racing. This is the man who's been sneaking around behind my back. Before I can second guess myself, I hit send, and the message flies into the digital ether. I sit back, a wave of satisfaction washing over me. The next day, the fallout begins. I'm sitting at my desk when my phone buzzes with notifications. Friends have started to share my post, and comments flood in. Some are supportive, while others express disbelief, questioning Ava's character. It feels like the ground beneath her is starting to shake. During lunch, I receive a call from James. "Dude, you need to see this," he says, urgency in his voice. "What is it?" I ask, my heart pounding. "People are talking about Ava at the office. It's spreading like wildfire. You won't believe how many people are approaching her." I grin, feeling a rush of vindication. Good. She needs to face the consequences. After work, I head to a local bar where some of our friends are gathering. I walk in, and the atmosphere shifts as people notice me. Whispers swirl around the room, and I can feel the weight of their gazes. It's intoxicating. I find a spot at the bar and order a drink, enjoying the power that comes from being in control. Then, I spot Ava across the room, her face pale as she speaks to a group of our mutual friends. They seem to be comforting her, but I can see the cracks in her facade. "Are you okay?" Sarah approaches me, concern etched on her face. "Never better," I say, lifting my drink in a mock toast. "Look at her. She's getting exactly what she deserves." "Maybe you should talk to her," she suggests, glancing nervously in Ava's direction. "Why?" "So she can make excuses." "No, I want her to suffer. She chose this path." As the night progresses, I watch Ava from a distance. She's clearly distressed, her laughter replaced by fidgeting and nervous glances. I feel a surge of satisfaction, knowing my plan is working. Finally, I spot Mark entering the bar. He's confident, oblivious to the storm brewing around him. Ava's eyes widen when she sees him, and I can practically see her heart race. "Look who's here," I murmur to James, who stands beside me. Mark strides over to Ava, concern plastered on his face. "Hey, what's going on? You look upset." Before she can respond, I take a step forward, unable to contain my fury any longer. "You think it's okay to just show up here?" I shout, drawing everyone's attention. Mark's face falls as he registers who I am. "What the hell, man?" "You know exactly what the hell," I reply, my voice dripping with contempt. "You're the reason my marriage is in shambles." Ava spins around, desperation in her eyes. "Stop it. Not here, please." "But I'm beyond caring. Everyone deserves to know the truth about your little affair," I yell, the tension in the room thickening. James grabs my arm, trying to pull me back, but I shrug him off. "No more hiding, Ava. This is your reality now." Mark stares at me, confusion morphing into anger. "You have no idea what you're talking about." I take a step closer, my voice low and threatening. "I know everything, and trust me, this is just the beginning." As I turn to Ava, I see the tears streaming down her face. The look of betrayal and regret is written all over her, and for a moment, I feel a flicker of pity. But then I remember the pain she caused me, and it hardens my heart. I hope you're ready for what's coming, I say coldly, before storming out of the bar, leaving chaos in my wake. The thrill of revenge surges through me, but so does the uncertainty. This is only the beginning of my plan, and I can't shake the feeling that the worst is yet to come. The intrigue of this story is far from over, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. The days following the confrontation at the bar drag on like a nightmare that refuses to end. I can feel the tension building, the anticipation of my revenge hanging heavy in the air. I know that I need to finish what I started, to ensure Ava and Mark understand the full weight of their betrayal. Word of my outburst at the bar spreads like wildfire. Our mutual friends can't stop talking about it, and Ava's reputation at work is crumbling. I relish the whispers that reach my ears, each one a reminder of the power I now wield. But I'm not done yet. I want to take it further. I want them to feel the pain of losing everything they've built, everything they thought was secure. The plans I've been crafting swirl in my mind, dark and exhilarating. One evening, I decide to pay Ava a visit. She's been avoiding me, but I know she'll be home alone. As I pull into her driveway, I can't help but feel a rush of adrenaline. This is it. I knock on the door, and when she opens it, her expression shifts from surprise to fear. "What do you want?" she asks, her voice shaky. "I want to talk," I reply, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. The tension between us crackles like electricity. "I don't want to talk to you," she snaps, crossing her arms defensively. "Too bad," I say, my tone icy. "You think you can just brush this under the rug? Pretend everything's fine? It's time to face the truth." "Get out of my house," she shouts, but I'm unfazed. "No. We're going to have a real conversation about what you did." I step closer, the anger bubbling beneath the surface. "You think you can just ruin my life without consequences?" Ava's eyes widen as she backs away, her voice trembling. "I made a mistake. I regret it. Can't we just move on?" "Move on?" I echo, my voice rising. "You think this is something I can just forget? You've shattered everything we built. And now, I'm going to make you pay. Please, just leave," she pleads, her bravado fading. "I'm begging you." I shake my head, my resolve hardening. "You wanted to betray me, so now I'll show you what betrayal feels like." With that, I pull out my phone and begin typing furiously. "I'm sending this to everyone," I say, holding it up for her to see. "A picture of you and Mark, along with the details of your affair. You think you can just hide behind your pretty face? I'll make sure everyone knows what a liar you are." "Don't. You can't do this," she cries, panic evident in her eyes. But it's too late. I hit send, watching the message fly into the digital void. I can almost feel the walls closing in on her as the realization sinks in. As I step toward the door, I hear a voice behind me. It's Mark, standing on the porch with a smug expression. "What's going on here?" I turn to face him, my anger flaring again. "Just giving your girlfriend a little reality check." He sneers, stepping closer. "You think you can just waltz in here and bully her? She made her choices. Just like you made yours." I retort, stepping forward, my fists clenched. "You think you're invincible because you're a snake in the grass." Ava looks back and forth between us, fear etched on her face. "Stop it. Both of you." "But I can't stop now. You think you can just take my life and not face the consequences?" I challenge Mark. "You're about to find out how wrong you are." The tension in the air is palpable as I face him. "You want to know what happens when you betray someone?" I say, my voice low and dangerous. "You end up losing everything." Mark scoffs, but I can see the flicker of doubt in his eyes. You're just a pathetic loser. You think this is going to hurt me? Before he can react, I shove him back against the wall, my face inches from his. You don't know who you're dealing with. You've crossed a line, and I don't let people like you get away with it. Ava steps forward, desperation in her voice. Stop. Please, just leave us alone. But I ignore her, my focus solely on Mark. You think you're so clever, playing the role of the charming guy. But I'll make sure everyone sees you for who you really are. A fraud. A coward. Mark shoves me back, the anger boiling over. You think you can just threaten me? I won't back down. In that moment, the fight ignites. We grapple, trading blows in a whirlwind of anger and betrayal. I can feel the adrenaline coursing through me as I tackle him to the ground, my fists connecting with his face. Each punch feels like a release, a way to channel the pain Ava caused me. Feel that? I shout, my breath heavy with exertion. That's for every night you thought you could take what's mine. Ava screams, trying to pull us apart, but I'm fueled by rage. I finally manage to pin Mark down, my knee pressing into his chest. This is the last time you ever come near her. You're done. I look into his eyes, seeing the fear now flickering there. You're going to regret ever stepping into my life. Just then, I hear sirens in the distance, the wailing sound growing louder. The reality of the moment crashes down on me. I can't be here when the cops arrive. I shove Mark off me, standing up and brushing myself off, adrenaline still coursing through my veins. You'll get what's coming to you, I hiss, glaring down at him. Ava looks at me, tears streaming down her face, her voice shaky. This isn't the way. You're ruining everything. I take a deep breath, my heart pounding in my chest. No, Ava. You ruined everything the moment you chose him over me. As I bolt for the door, I look back one last time, feeling a mix of satisfaction and sadness. Consider this my final goodbye. We're done. You'll never see me again. I burst through the door, sprinting down the street as the sirens approach. The reality of what's just happened sinks in, but I don't look back. This chapter of my life is over, and the pain of betrayal will stay with me. I may have lost Ava, but in the end, I've also found a strength I never knew I had. As I disappear into the night, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. I won't let betrayal define me. Instead, I'll take the lessons learned and move forward, leaving the remnants of my old life behind. The story ends here, but the echoes of the past will fade, replaced by the promise of a new beginning.